What is the worst movie y'all have seen from start to finish? The live action Woodpecker movie. Yes, it exists. And it's on Netflix. Manus Hands of Fate. I was told the MST3K version was going to be funny. Movie caused me physical pain. Hellraiser 4. Then 5. Then 6. 7. 8. Then after 9. I had a renewed appreciation for 4. 7. I refused to watch the new one. And Ash X200B. The worst part is, I've seen them all more than once. Ballistic X vs. Sever. I know it's a meme at this point, but Dragon Ball Evolution is genuinely fucking awful. Even if you aren't a fan of the anime/manga, which, full disclosure, I grew up with and loved, it's just hot garbage. I only sat through the entirety of it because my friend asked me to watch it with him. I don't think I'll ever fully understand Hollywood and their reasoning for drastically changing a piece of media from its source material. At the end of the day, it only had surface level similarities. It's like, why even call it by its original title then? To pull in the original fans? They're gonna hate it the moment the trailer drops. I just don't get it. Skyline. 90% of the movie is just them cowering in a high-rise apartment. This past weekend, my son had his birthday, and he wanted to go to a scary movie with his friends. The only movie that looked remotely scary was Gretel and Hansel. It was not scary. It was bad. It was opening night, and a grand total of about 12 people were in the theater. It was so boring. At least a quarter left before it was half over. There's a plot twist near the end. For most movies, you think, wow, I didn't see that coming. Or I totally saw that coming. In this movie, you just think, well, that happened. It landed like a dead salmon tossed on wet concrete. It was awful. The latest Sherlock Holmes film with Will Ferrell. The movie started with about 20 people. But I was the only one who stuck around long enough to see the end credits. Battlefield Earth. I was taking a minibus from Christchurch to Dunedin and there was a TV at the front and a selection of DVDs including Battlefield Earth. The driver asked the passengers which one we should watch, and I said not Battlefield Earth. It's supposed to be terrible. He thought it would be so bad it's good, so put it on. God, it was dire. When it was my stop and he went to get my luggage, he actually apologized and said he should have listened. That animated movie, Alpha and Omega. Such a mess. I'm not allowed to choose the movie anymore with my family. It's called The Horse Dancer. It's about a gymnast who, for some reason, goes to a horse camp. It's basically an advertisement for a real riding camp, and features some of the worst dialogue and acting I have ever seen in my life. One scene that stands out is the head counselor absolutely losing her shit because someone did something that put the camp at risk. Total overacting. 10/10ths entertainment. The third, Jeepers Creepers. Say what you want about the first and second. I see those as classic with a hint of dark comedy. But the third, TRASH. Fantastic Four, 2015. Legitimately went that's it? At the end. 95% of the movie is boring uninterested dialogue. 5% boss fight. Food fight, my dudes. Easily the ugliest thing ever created. Also clearly aimed at children, but so many bad sexual puns. Edit. I just remember Darkstar. Watching that caused me physical pain. I think it may be worse than Food Fight. Food Fight is not Seth Rogen's Sausage Party. The Last Airbender. I was a big fan of the show. So when the movie came out, I convinced my friends to go and see it. They were skeptical at first, but I was sure they would like it. It was the Avatar after all. And then it started. And it was absolute shit. I never cringed so hard in my entire life. Every time I thought it can't get any worse, the movie proved me otherwise. Worst of all, it wasn't even funny bad. It was incredibly boring and cringy. And it just kept on going. I still feel bad that I made them watch it. Got to be Highlander 2. A sequel that isn't just unnecessary, but completely craps all over the emotional beats of the original, and ruins everything by giving a half-baked explanation to things nobody needed answers to. My wife and I turned it off after watching, and declared that it didn't happen and doesn't exist. It's that bad. Tall Girl. Left Behind 2014 with Nick Cage. I watched the whole thing hoping it would get better. It did not. Edit. I should add that I didn't read anything about the movie and went in thinking it was just an action/thriller. The Swimmer, 1968. It's a full-length movie based on a short story. It's about a dude who walks through the woods into his friends' backyards, talks to them for a bit, then swims across their pool and goes to the next house. My dad keeps it recorded on our TV as a way to get guests to leave our house. The Circle. The one with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. Irene, the name of the Kingo. I figure it stars Jason Statham. I'm a sucker for his movies. Plus a bunch of other big names: Burt Reynolds, Ray Liotta, Ron Perlman, etc. How bad can it be? I figure it would be a cookie cutter medieval movie with some badass Statham head kicks. OMG. It is so bad. Like so bad. Birdemic. The acting. The CGI. There are no words. Jiggly. Transformers: The Last Night. The only reason I didn't walk out was because my brother was there. I later found out that he wanted to leave too, but the only reason he didn't was because I was there. It was horrific. Jack and Jill. I know it just came out, but honestly, cats. It's just bad. I went with friends to laugh at how bad it was, and it was a fun time for 30 minutes. After that it was just hard to sit through. Eragon. Seriously, please like and subscribe and comment something nice for your favorite Reddit slave. Emoji Movie. And before you ask, my brother's wife downloaded it for a weekend trip without service. Jiggly. It was absolutely awful. Terrible writing. Wooden acting. Showcasing JLo and Affleck's romance. The soundtrack was designed by taping tracks to a dartboard. The only bright spot in the entire movie is when Christopher Walken randomly wanders on set and spouts nonsense, then leaves as suddenly as he arrived. However, 1 minute of levity doesn't make up for the other 2 hours. Has anybody seen the movie And Boy? Or was that just a fever dream I had? After Earth starring Will and Jaden Smith. It was 2 hours of watching Jaden not listen to his father in a life or death situation, and whining and crying when not following said instructions almost killed him. I think I was mostly disappointed because of the hype I'd seen about the movie. Promise and behind the scenes interviews prior to the movie's release discussed some deep lore that got me really excited, but I never saw it reflect in the story's plot or any footage. Apparently, everyone was about the same skin color because a few hundred years into the future, everyone is supposed to be the same skin tone because of globalization and ease of access to interracial relationships. And a linguist was supposedly hired for this movie to create an accent that carefully combined the majority of the accents of the world if they were all merged into one nation. It must not have been a particularly good linguist, because Will and Jaden ended up sounding like two people who were bad at impersonating Victorian English. Then they would hop in and out of using it. So at times, they just basically spoke a present day American accent. Almost like the director just went, you know what? The accent is dumb, and we have 2 more hours on set today and 3 more scenes to shoot. Just talk like normal people. It was just such a bummer because I really liked Karate Kid. Jaden did a fantastic job despite being so young, and I really liked Will Smith. The movie just wasn't very good. Edit. So someone just notified me that it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So there's your reason right there why it wasn't that great. / Human Centipede 3. I know that no one will see this, but by far the worst movie I have ever watched is Erek Midano. No typo. It is basically a grated Christian horror movie. And yes, it is about as bad as it sounds. And X200B. Trailer for anyone who wishes to bask in its glory. https://www.youtube.com/watch v = n https://www.youtube.com/watch v = n70m3 udit4 and X200B. Edit. A word. This is going to get buried, but I've been waiting. Just fucking waiting for an opportunity to talk about this. I watch bad movies for entertainment, and this was not even entertaining, ironically, and in fact, I've never really been this angry at a film before in my life. Not necessarily because of the movie, but for a number of reasons I will outline below that I discovered in my quest to understand how the fuck something like this happened, and additionally how the fuck they got anyone to even be in it. Spoiler alert, it definitely was not on the strength of the script. If I manage to at least get the formatting to a passable point, I'll be satisfied. Content wise, this is just gonna be one long rant devoid of much of a review at all. Anyway, the movie is How to Get Girls, 2018. Overview. Zach and Ben are two nerdy childhood best friends with a dream to go to Comic-Con. When Ben is forced to move with his dad to Antarctica, the two make a vow that when Ben comes back they will finish writing their own comic book and get it into the hands of their hero, Marvel creator Stan Lee. Yet, plans change when after 5 years of total isolation and extreme puberty, Ben returns as the same geek now trapped inside the body of an Abercrombie model. With his new golden ticket, Zach uses Ben to do what was once thought impossible, get girls. Trailer, https://www.youtube.com/watch v=ou4@.rse. How does this have 47k likes? I'd like to start out by saying that I'd put money on Zach Fox being a Reddit user, and I'd just like to say, please, for the love of God, never make a movie ever again. In fact, refrain from talking about movies or comedy in any capacity ever again. And to the University of Pennsylvania I say, once again you've outdone yourself by having a hand in the creation of an utterly unbearable piece of shit created by one of your overly privileged and unbearable graduates who, for reasons that absolutely escape me, decided to use those resources to make this pile of garbage. And you're proud of it, so hey, good for you, higher edition. Now, I bring up the filmmaker and a pen because it's impossible to talk about the movie without talking about how it even came to be, which I only know about because Penn really likes to jerk itself and its alumni/students off via its online magazine. And the filmmaker whose vision this was. So much was this his vision that he named the main character Zach and set it in a fictionalized version of his hometown. And he was recognized as such a visionary at a Penn event, where wealthy donors were more than willing to throw money at this burgeoning piece of shit. Again, this is all information that's just out there. I don't know this person. I just hated this so much that I went to town on it. The best part of this whole story is that I made this movie while I was at Penn. Fox exclaims when explaining how creating a feature film fit into his collegiate life. Between working on his communications degree and performing with Mask and Wig, Fox ran his production company as a way of supporting himself and got How to Get Girls through production over the course of his education. Funding the project was yet another feat of perseverance that required convincing reality show producer Nancy Glass, who Fox pitched to at a Wharton event, to take on a feature-length comedy. Zach Fox, 34th Street, magazine https://www.theforstreet.com/article/2018/09/to Hollywood and book with Zach Fox movie entertainmentalum. Though Penn may seem like a mere stepping stone in Fox's years-long journey through the media landscape, he notes the importance of the connections he has made here. Zach mentions that he frequently works with former members of Mask and Wig, among other Penn affiliates. Red thing is, Thea is so smart, he says with a chuckle. Zach Fox, 34th Street, magazine https://www.theforstreet.com/article/2018/09/to Hollywood and book with Zach Fox movie entertainmentalum. Yes. What a true feat of heroic perseverance. This movie is so astoundingly bad in every single possible way that I just needed to lay all this out for everyone first. I just wanted to be clear that he thinks he's smarter than other people. He used all of his connections, privilege, and talent to create this etc etc. And that's just one article. And I'm not even delving into his brief stint at UCLA. I'll just let him tell you about it. https://www.youtube.com/watch V equals JXHQUTG 784. I'm not going to bother breaking this video down. In fact, breaking the movie down at this point seems irrelevant. But I will comment on two of the most mind-bending decisions that instantly come to mind because TBH I'm like fucking done with this already, but the world's gotta know. You know? Closed bracket colon. His high school wouldn't let him use their name or campus. So rather than just not set it there, he just creates a fictionalized version of it with a slightly different name. Not really a fireable offense, but then he continues to set it in Philadelphia, but includes literally no establishing shots. I think there is one. They make a big deal about where the film is set, but it does not further the plot in any way, and it doesn't make sense and even takes away from the plot at times. And in order to avoid this, all they had to do was not set it there. I would now like to add that in Philadelphia, people will literally fight you if you say you are from Philly, but really from its affluent suburbs, which you are, Zach. Anyway, there are just tons and tons of things like this. Things that literally make the movie worse and worse with each new problem. And yet are only problems because of the fucking terrible writing, one edit, or one competent editor, and they are gone. And finally, Stanley plays a major part of their goals in the film, which include meeting women, going to Comic-Con, and showing Stanley their comic.